Good morning, everyone. My name is Daniel Patterson. I'm going to time myself. I tend to ramble when I get excited. And I work for a company called Cirius. Obviously, from my accent, I'm not from here. I'm not from Dublin. I'm not from the UK. We are a Canadian company based in Vancouver, Canada, on the West Coast. But I manage our European, focusing on the UK and Ireland sales and operations, and a little bit of marketing as well. If you'd like a sales pitch, I'd love to give you one. I can give you that afterwards. But today, what I'd like to talk about for the next 12 minutes, I'd like to give you some facts, some stats, and some ammo to help you talk to customers and get them to reconsider the way that they're using their corporate email. So continuing with the email trend here. And I'm going to time myself, so let's go ahead and get started. This won't be a technical presentation. I'm going to give you the basics of email from an information security standpoint, secure messaging, email encryption, talk about a couple stats that should be interesting. I'm going to focus on those 5 reasons to give you something to take away from this presentation. Maybe you're deploying email with a customer this week. Maybe you have a law firm that you're onboarding next week. Here are some things that you can talk about and potentially introduce some new opportunities. I'm going to finish the presentation giving you a 1-minute drill on Cirius, who we are, and really focus on what the opportunity is for you as an Office 365 reseller to get a little bit more out of basic email. A couple of stats here. I'm sure you can all read them, but I want to focus on 2. 48%. 48% of business communication is still done over email. As Lee mentioned, email is not going anywhere. It's still very much a primary means of a way to talk to customers, a way to talk to partners. I'm sure a lot of you are using your email right now. 31%, as Lee also mentioned earlier, there are a lot of new and interesting technologies, a lot of new and interesting platforms that are trying to get people out of their inbox, trying to get them into a productivity suite, some sort of collaboration suite. But 31% of most employees' time, productive time, is still being sent in email. Again, email is not going anywhere. I'm going to force you to participate in this next piece, if possible. Could you put your hand up if you've ever sent an email and immediately wished that you could recall it, or maybe a couple minutes later, a couple hours later, right? Email has been around for a long time. Unfortunately, the technology itself has not advanced, so we've all been in scenarios where we think, I just sent something that I shouldn't have. Maybe it's embarrassing. Another vote of hands. Have you ever cringed when looking at your inbox because your colleague has replied all instead of replying directly to you or to the customer? Maybe they called the customer a moron, maybe he is a moron, maybe not. But again, a situation where once you send something, that's it. It's often archived, it's gone. All of us here probably have some sort of sales or business development capacity. So have you ever been concerned when you're communicating with a partner, a customer, a vendor, that the quote that you're sending them or the proposal that you're sending them, you know that they're going to turn that around and forward it to your competitor to say, can you beat this? Can you match it? Can you give me a better price? So not a lot of control over email once it's left. The last piece there, have you ever been frustrated about being able to send a large file over email? Maybe it's getting to the end of the day. You need to get that document out. You have to get that project out. Maybe you need to get a signature on a document from a customer before the close of business. How do you do it if you can't send it over email? Maybe you're lucky. Maybe you have SharePoint. Maybe you have something else. But often people scramble. You throw it onto an FTP site. You have to rely on registered post, send it over a encrypted USB drive, something like that. So these may be problematic for us. They may be embarrassing. You may get a bit of stick from your colleagues about something. But I'd like you to consider the fact that put yourself in the shoes of a lawyer. Put yourself in the shoes of a doctor, a dentist, the head of a hedge fund firm, or any sort of financial services firm. This isn't embarrassing. This is a lawsuit. This is a compliance issue. This is a data breach. This is an expensive mistake. So these firms should be a little bit more aware about the limitations of email, and perhaps there's an opportunity there to give them something that can help with that. So basic email encryption fundamentals, pretty straightforward. The ability to protect something in transit, be able to control it, and being able to track it once it's accessed. Maybe that is a conversation with you and the managing director of your organization. Maybe you're talking to a vendor, a partner. Maybe you're talking to a customer. Something that we're seeing recently that's pretty interesting is what we would call C2B communication. So that's clients of yours, customers of yours that are sending you sensitive information, payment details over email when they absolutely should not be, because now you're liable for this information sitting in your inbox. So there's a couple different ways that technology is able to help with this. What is email encryption? How do you deploy it? There's two general, broad categories, we would say. A secure email gateway, sometimes that's an appliance, sometimes that's cloud-based. Think of that as an umbrella that encompasses your entire email infrastructure. It allows you to maybe encrypt things based on policies. What we're seeing more of, and Cirius is in the latter category, are dedicated email encryption providers. So these are organizations that are trying to add value to the email experience: tracking, control, message recall, digital signatures, integrations with Outlook, integrations with mobile devices, data residency. Do you want everything to be stored in Ireland? Do you want it to be stored in the UK? Do you want it to be stored in Panama, maybe, who knows? But there's a lot of innovation in this space, and it's making email encryption a little bit more interesting. Unfortunately, I only have 3 minutes, time for 3 of these points. I can't give you 5, so vote Cirius, and we'll go all 5, and I also have a bonus one. Number 1, transition to cloud-based email. This is a great opportunity, whether you're using Migration Wiz, you're using other tools. People are asking you for Office 365. People are asking you for cheaper email. There is no money to be made in purely selling Exchange Online or Office 365, so why not take advantage of this opportunity? Take advantage of the fact that people are still using email for most of their business communication. Take advantage of the fact that they are spending a lot of their day in email, and extend the Office 365 offering. There's a lot of great add-ons there. There's a lot of great productivity tools, and there's also a lot of great encryption features that can be built right into that service. Number 2, bring your own device, of course. Every SMB, every business, every enterprise struggles with this question. Do you give everyone BlackBerries and make their lives difficult? Do you allow them to bring in their own phones into the office? How do you manage that? How do you manage the security of the device? How do you manage the security of the information contained on the device? So again, a great opportunity to add maybe a third-party service that allows your customer to lock down those personal devices, that allows your customers to communicate securely using an app natively on a device or on a tablet. Right now, if you had to send an encrypted email, or you had to send a document for signature from your desk, or from the table rather, today, could you do it off of a phone? If you had Cirius, you absolutely could. The third one is interesting. We're seeing a convergence or a marriage of workflow technology and email technology. So a lot of organizations are trying to get you out of email. Use SharePoint, use these collaboration tools. Well, people still love working out of their inbox. They love the fact that they can answer messages in line, mark things for follow-up. So instead of fighting that, instead of trying to push people out of email, a lot of interesting technology is just adding this functionality into the Outlook experience, into the mobile experience, into the tablet experience. So there's a lot of great SharePoint plugins. If you use Office 365 Outlook Web Access, it's really been developing in the past couple years. So of course now there's also an opportunity to add additional features into that experience and make sure that sending an encrypted message, as an example, is as easy as sending a regular message. So those are 3. I have 2 more. We have a bonus one as well, if you're interested. So why Cirius? Who are we? What do we do? What sort of value do we provide to you as a reseller, whether you are selling Office 365 right now, whether you have a proactive strategy around it, whether customers are simply asking you for it and you're trying to figure out what the best way is to get that service out to them. We can help. So we work with a lot of pure cloud resellers. We work with a lot of resellers that are only just getting started with cloud services. We're also working with a lot of businesses that manage customers' on-premise email. So if that's something that you still do, your customers aren't interested in using cloud-based email, we can still help. It's a technology that's very flexible, and it allows you to deploy the service on top of any type of email infrastructure, rather. What does Cirius do? It's secure messaging. It's email encryption. It's secure file sharing, so send a 2 GB file to someone right from Outlook. It's an e-signature tool, so that's not an email signature, but an electronic signature on a document. So think about being able to send a PDF. Think about being able to take a picture of this presentation and send it to someone for signature. Why you would do that, I'm not sure, but you can, absolutely. What's in it for you as a reseller? Sticky, recurring revenue on top of Office 365. As we all know, the margins in Exchange Online in particularly, not great. They've been falling. If you've been basing a business around email, you're getting pinned down more and more. So you need to think about different services that you can add on to email. If a customer is only interested in email, that's often the case, but there's a lot of interesting things that you can add on, like Cirius. And I hope that some of these reasons can help with that conversation. Cirius is a purely cloud-based solution. It's software as a service. It's per user per month. There's no setup costs. There's no bandwidth fees or anything like that. Very, very straightforward. And we're here to help you win business without trying to add any complexity to your sales cycle. So we're not trying to make your lives more difficult. We're trying to give you something that's easy to add on top of email. So this is just for informational purposes only. These numbers are based off of a couple conversations that I've had with resellers last week. I'd love the opportunity to talk to you one-to-one, and we can build a model for you specifically. But just as an example, let's say you're currently managing 600 seats of Office 365, or maybe you're managing seats of hosted Exchange, maybe you're managing people that are using an on-premise Exchange. Let's say you're looking to add 400 new seats in the next 12 months. Again, maybe that's Office 365, maybe that's other technology. Maybe you're growing at 15% annually, and maybe we're looking at taking a 10% Cirius attach benchmark. So for every 10 seats of Office 365 you sell 1 seat of Cirius. Not everyone in a business needs to have Cirius. What does that mean? Again, this is for informational purposes only. Email encryption is not an exciting technology if you're not Dan Patterson. So what does it mean from a business standpoint? Revenue, gross profit, margin at the end of 3 years. If the numbers are exciting, come talk to me. If the numbers are interesting, let me know how I can make them exciting. We can talk a little bit more about it. If the numbers are boring, then doesn't mean we're a bad product, doesn't mean you're a bad partner, it just means not a good fit for now. And I believe my time is up. Thanks very much.